Hello, this is Geoff with In-Depth Studies. Today we're going to look at Hebrews chapter 10, verses 8 through 10. The context, of course, is Jesus is our high priest, and he offers himself, his life on behalf of those whom he represents, and he accomplishes, of course, our salvation. But he says this. First, he said, sacrifices and offerings, burnt offerings and sin offerings, you did not desire, nor were you pleased with them, though they were offered in accordance with the law. Then he said, here I am, I have come to do your will. He sets aside the first to establish the second. And by that will we have been made holy through the sacrifice of the body of Jesus Christ once for all. He says that the sacrifices of the old covenant God was not pleased with that, with what they were doing with them. And what is that? Well, the professed believers who are Jewish in the book of Hebrews are in danger of not persevering, because to avoid persecution they seem to be turning their back on the cross, the new covenant, going back under the old covenant, the sacrificial system. But the author of Hebrews says, if you're going to rely upon the sacrificial system to pay for your sins, that's not possible. God is not pleased with you. It's only the cross of Jesus that can do that. Because in verse 3 of chapter 10, he says, but those sacrifices are an annual reminder of sins. It is impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. Yet, in Leviticus 4, where they're describing the various sacrifices for various sins, and if you do these sacrifices, each segment ends with a statement that you will be forgiven. Well, in what sense are you forgiven? And the answer is only in a ceremonial sense, because there is no real forgiveness, not before the God of heaven and earth. But if an Israelite committed one of these sins and he did the proper sacrifices, then he was restored to good standing in the nation of Israel. So he was forgiven in that sense, what we call ceremonial forgiveness. Other than that, he is not forgiven by the Lord of heaven and earth, because it is impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. Thank you very much. Check out the website, ids.org. Bye-bye.